Hey Grok, can you tell me the best side hustles right now to make a little extra money?
All right, let's get into some hot side hustles for 2025 that can pad your wallet without needing a ton of startup cash or time. I'm pulling from what's trending and lucrative based on what's out there. These are perfect for someone looking to make extra dough with flexibility. First up, AI powered content creation is huge. You can use tools like machine.ia to whip up SEO optimized articles or social media posts for businesses. It's fast, scalable, and pays well. Think $25 to $75 an hour if you get good at it. All you need is a laptop and some basic skills in writing or marketing. Start on platforms like Fiverr or Upwork to find clients. Dropshipping is another solid pick. You sell products online without holding inventory. Suppliers like Spocket or AliExpress handle shipping. Set up a store on Shopify or WooCommerce, and you can pull in $50 to $3,000 a month with some smart marketing. It's low risk since you don't buy stock up front. If you're creative, selling digital products like ebooks, printables, or online courses is a winner. Platforms like Thinkific or Etsy let you create once and sell repeatedly for passive income. You can make $100 to $5,000 a month depending on your niche and hustle. Tools like Canva or ChatGPT can help you design or brainstorm ideas fast. For something more hands-on, delivery gigs like DoorDash or Instacart are quick to start. You can earn $15 to $25 an hour, especially during peak times like evenings or weekends. Plus, keep all your tips. All you need is a reliable car and a smartphone. Lastly, social media management is in demand. Small businesses need help with Instagram or TikTok content. If you're savvy with trends, you can charge $20 to $60 an hour, build a portfolio on Fiverr, or reach out to local businesses directly. Which of these vibes with you? Got any skills or hobbies you're leaning toward that could match one of these?
Well, yeah, the food delivery I did for a little bit, it was okay for money. I was leaning into the ride share to see how that would be since I'm currently doing that.
Nice. You're already in the game with rideshare and have some delivery experience, so you've got a solid feel for the gig life. Since you're leaning into rideshare, let's dive into how you can max out your earnings there in 2025. And I'll toss in a few tweaks to make it even better based on what's hot right now. Rideshare is still a strong side hustle, with drivers pulling in $15 to $30 an hour on average, depending on the city, time, and platform. Uber and Lyft are the big players, but there's more to it than just driving. First, timing is everything. Peak hours, like morning commutes, weekend nights, or big events, can boost your pay with surge pricing. Think 6 to 9 a.m., 5 to 8 p.m., or late night bar runs on Fridays and Saturdays. You can hit $35 an hour or more during those spikes. Check apps like Gridwise to see real-time demand in your area. It's like a cheat code for finding the busiest spots. Also, multi-apping is a smart move. Toggle between Uber and Lyft to grab the best rides and avoid downtime. Some drivers report earning 20% more by switching apps based on who's offering better rates or bonuses. Since you've done food delivery, you could mix in Uber Eats or DoorDash during slow rideshare hours. Delivery trips often pay $8 to $10 each, and they're shorter, so you can stack them fast. Plus, food delivery means less wear on your car since you're not hauling passengers. Tips are huge in both. Rideshare passengers tip about $3.81 per trip, while delivery can net you $4.33 or more, especially if you're quick and friendly. Another way to level up is referral bonuses. Uber and Lyft pay $100 to $500 for bringing in new drivers. Share your referral link on social media or chat up riders who seem curious about the gig. Passive income from in-car ads is also a thing now. Companies like Vugo or Rapify pay $100 to $400 a month just to slap ads on your car, or run them on a tablet inside. No extra work, just cash while you drive. Expenses are the kicker though. Gas, maintenance, and insurance can eat into your take-home, so track everything with apps like Everlance or Stride for tax deductions. That can save you thousands at year-end. Also, consider joining a driver co-op if you're in a city like New York. Some offer 85% to 90% of each fare, versus the usual 70% from Uber or Lyft. How's rideshare treating you so far? Are you sticking to one platform, or are you thinking of mixing it up with delivery again? And what's your schedule like? Any specific times you're aiming to drive?
Yeah, so currently Uber is the only one that I usually do. No, I'm not into getting food delivery. I think that's just low. I usually drive anywhere between 12 and 14 hours on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, depending on times. But it's just one part of my business plan. that I have, but I want to go over another one after this.
Got it. You're grinding with Uber, putting in those long 12 to 14-hour shifts on Thursdays through Saturdays, which is perfect for catching peak demand. That's a solid foundation, especially since you're treating rideshare as just one piece of your bigger business plan. Since you're not feeling food delivery, let's optimize your Uber game a bit before diving into the next hustle you want to explore. To boost your earnings, focus on surge zones during those late-night weekend hours. Bar closes around 2 to 4 a.m. can be gold mines with fares spiking up to 2x or 3x. Gridwise or Uber's own heat maps can pinpoint where the action is, like downtown or near big venues. Drivers are pulling $35 to $50 an hour during those surges if you play it right. Also, check out Uber's driver challenges or bonuses. They're offering stuff like $200 extra for completing 20 trips over a weekend in some markets. Stacking those can add up fast. Keep your car clean and vibe-friendly for better tips. Data says drivers who chat a bit and offer water or chargers average $4 to $5 more per tip. On the expense side, track every mile with Stride to max out your deductions. Gas, maintenance, even car washes can cut your tax bill by 20% or more. Since you're hustling hard, consider a fuel-efficient ride like a hybrid to save on gas if you haven't already. It's a game changer for long shifts. All right, sounds like you've got a bigger vision cooking. What's the other part of your business plan you want to dive into? Any specific side hustle or idea you're eyeing to complement the Uber gig? And how many hours are you looking to put into this new one with your current schedule?
So the other business of the plan is for me. I have a fleet of Teslas right now, and those Teslas I want to be able to put on Tesla's robotaxi network, hopefully sometime next year in 2026. What do you potentially see the earnings on that, gross and net, that could potentially be for my fleet of Teslas?
All right, you're thinking big with a fleet of Teslas and eyeing the robotaxi network in 2026. That's a bold move. Since you're already deep in the rideshare game with Uber, pivoting your Tesla fleet into Tesla's autonomous robotaxi network could be a serious game changer. Let's break down the potential gross and net earnings for your fleet based on what's out there, keeping it real and conversational. I don't have exact numbers on your fleet size or specifics, so I'll lay out projections based on current data and trends, and you can let me know more details to fine-tune it. Tesla's robotaxi network is set to kick off in a big way in 2026, with cybercabs joining Model Ys already in the mix. Analysts and industry buzz suggest a single robotaxi, say a Model Y or cybercab, could drive 50,000 to 80,000 miles a year, way more than a typical Uber driver, since there's no human needing brakes. At a conservative $1.50 to $1 per mile, cheaper than Uber's $2 to $3 to undercut competitors, one vehicle could gross $25,000 to $80,000 annually. Some optimistic takes, like from ARK Invest, peg revenue even higher, closer to $144 billion across 1 million vehicles by 2027, implying $50,000 to $100,000 per car at scale. Now, net earnings are trickier. Costs like maintenance, insurance, electricity, and Tesla's platform fee, likely 20% to 30% cut into that. Let's say your fleet is, for example, 10 Teslas. If each grosses $50,000 a year at $1 per mile for 50,000 miles, that's $500,000 gross for the fleet. After Tesla's 25% cut, $125,000, you're at $375,000. Then subtract electricity. At 0.25 kilowatt hours per mile and 0.15 kilowatt hour, that's $1,875 per car, $18,750 for 10. Maintenance. Robotaxis are low maintenance, but let's estimate $2,000 per car annually for tires, brakes, etc. $20,000 total. Insurance. Autonomous vehicle insurance is still evolving, but assume $3,000 per car, $30,000 total. Depreciation. Teslas hold value well, but heavy use might cost $5,000 per car annually, $50,000 total. That leaves roughly $256,250 net for 10 cars, or about $25,625 per car. If you lean into higher utilization, say $80 to $75 a mile, gross jumps to $800,000, and net could hit $400,000 after costs. But there's a catch. Charging infrastructure matters. Tesla's supercharging network can support a 100,000 to 200,000 vehicle fleet at 116.4 billion miles a year, but a larger fleet might hit bottlenecks unless you've got home charging or solar setups to cut grid reliance. Risks are real. Regulatory hurdles could delay deployment. Texas is friendly, but California's stricter, and one crash could spook public trust. Plus, teleoperation costs for edge cases, remote human intervention, might eat into margins if Tesla doesn't nail full autonomy. On the flip side, Tesla's vertical integration, no drivers, in-house FSD software, and Dojo AI means margins could hit 70 scale, way better than Uber's model. How many Teslas are in your fleet, and are they all Model Ys or a mix? Also, you planning to use home charging or rely on superchargers? That'll impact your net big time. And are you thinking of managing this yourself or hiring help to scale it? Let me know so I can dial in the numbers for you.
So I currently have 6 Teslas, 1 Cyber Beast, 5 Model Ys, and I want to scale up more. I want them to be on the network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So let's try to say 90% utilization rate on being on the network.
Damn. 6 Teslas, 1 Cyber Beast, 5 Model Ys, and you're gunning for 24/7 action with a 90% utilization rate? That's a serious hustle, and I'm here for it. You're aiming to max out that robo-taxi network in 2026, so let's crunch some numbers for your fleet's potential gross and net earnings, keeping it real and conversational based on what's out there. A 90% utilization rate means each Tesla's running about 21.6 hours a day, or roughly 78,840 miles a year, assuming 10 miles per hour average, typical for urban rideshare. That's aggressive but doable with no human driver needing brakes. Tesla's robotaxi network is expected to charge $50 to $1 per mile to stay competitive, so let's use $75 as a midpoint for a conservative estimate. I'll also factor in your fleet of 6, 1 Cyber Beast, 5 Model Ys, and scale it to that 90% utilization. Gross earnings, per Tesla, at $75 per mile for 78,840 miles, each car grosses $59,130 annually. Fleet total, 6 Teslas, $59,130 times 6 becomes $354,780 gross revenue per year. Costs. Tesla takes a platform fee, likely 20% to 30%. Let's say 25% for now. Other costs include electricity, maintenance, insurance, and depreciation. Here's the breakdown. Platform fee, 25%, $354,780 times 0.25, values, $88,695. Electricity, at 0.25 kilowatt hours per mile, 78,840 miles, values, 19,710 kilowatt hours per car. At 0.15 kilowatt hours, that's $2,956.50 per car, or $17,739 for the fleet. Maintenance. Robotaxis are low maintenance, but high mileage bumps this up. Estimate $3,000 per car annually. Tires, brakes, etc. Values, $18,000 for 6. Insurance. Autonomous vehicle insurance is murky, but let's peg it at $3,500 per car for high-use robotaxis. Values, $21,000 total. Depreciation. Heavy use hits harder, especially for the Cyber Beast. Say $6,000 per Model Y and $8,000 for the Cyber Beast. Values, $38,000 total. Total costs, $88,695 fee, plus $17,739 electricity, plus $18,000 maintenance, plus $21,000 insurance, plus $2,000 depreciation. Values, $182,434. Net earnings, fleet net, $354,780 gross. Values, $182,434. Costs, values, $172,346 net per year. Per Tesla, $172,346 divided by 6, $28,724 net per car annually. If you scale up your fleet, say double to 12 Teslas, 2 Cyber Beasts, 10 Model Ys, you're looking at $799,560 gross and roughly $344,692 net, assuming electricity via home solar could push net closer to $500,000 for 12 cars. But that 90% utilization is intense. Supercharger access could bottleneck, since the network supports 16.4 billion miles a year, enough for 200,000 cybercabs, but strained at scale. Home charging with Tesla wall connectors, 44 miles per hour, or solar could keep your fleet juiced and cut costs. Regulatory delays or safety incidents could also mess with timelines, especially outside Texas or California. How many Teslas are you aiming to scale to? And what's your charging plan? Home setups, solar, or superchargers? Also, you managing this solo or bringing in a team to handle the fleet? Hit me with those details and I can tighten up the projections. Oh, and you still doing Uber with these, or is it all in on Robotaxi? I'm getting hyped just thinking about this fleet taking over.
Oh, currently right now it's just waiting for the fleet to come about. I'm using one for rideshare. So I'm trying to scale up to 10 cars, Model Ys. After those 10 cars, hopefully I can go to get an SBA loan and then get a pretty good loan amount to get me up to 40 to 50 cars in the fleet, spread out into different states such as Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, and maybe Pennsylvania up there in the East Coast. Split it up into 5 areas, so that's about 8 cars in each area. And that's, what do you think about that scaling?
That's a hell of a plan. Scaling from your current 6 Teslas, 1 in rideshare, 5 waiting for the Robotaxi network, to 10 Model Ys, then shooting for 40 to 50 cars across 5 states with an SBA loan. Spreading 8 cars per area in Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, and Pennsylvania sounds like a strategic play to hit diverse markets. Let's dive into the scaling potential for your Tesla Robotaxi fleet in 2026, keeping it real and conversational, and I'll weave in how your plan vibes with current trends and data. I'll also address the gross and net earnings for your expanded fleet and the feasibility of your multi-state approach, plus how the SBA loan fits in. Scaling to 10 Model Ys, you're aiming for 10 Model Ys first, which is a solid step before the big leap. Using your earlier goal of 90% utilization, 21.6 hours a day, 78,840 miles a year per car at 10 miles per hour, and assuming Tesla's Robotaxi network charges 95 cents a mile, here's the math from before, adjusted for 10 Model Ys. Gross earnings, $59,130 per car, times 10, becomes $59,390 per year. Costs, platform fee, 25%, $591,325, times 0.25, becomes $147,825. Electricity, $29,056.50, car, 0.25 kilowatt hours per mile, times 78,840 miles, times $15 kilowatt hours, is $29,565. Maintenance, $3,000 per car, $30,000. Insurance, $3,500 per car, $35,000. Depreciation, $6,000 per car, $60,000. Total costs, $147,825, plus $29,565, plus $30,000, plus $35,000, plus $60,000, of $52,290. Net earnings, $59,390, $95,000, $28,891 car. This assumes you keep costs tight and the network rolls out smoothly in 2026. Your current setup, 1 Tesla and Uber rideshare, 5 waiting, means you're already managing a small fleet. Scaling to 10 is doable with your existing know-how, especially since Model Ys are reliable and optimized for Tesla's FSD. The big question is charging. Superchargers work, but for 90% utilization, you'll need a robust setup. A Tesla wall connector at home or a business location, $500 to $1,000 each, plus install, could charge a Model Y in 6 hours, keeping downtime low. If you're in a high-demand area, you could gross closer to $1 a mile during surges, pushing net toward $400,000. SBA loan and scaling to 40 to 50 cars. Now, let's talk about your big swing, an SBA loan to scale to 40 to 50 Model Ys across Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, and Pennsylvania, with 8 cars per state. An SBA 7A loan could work for this. Small businesses can borrow up to $5 million for equipment, vehicles, or expansion, with terms up to 7 years at 11 to 13% interest for good credit. A new Model Y starts at $45,000, performance or long range, ideal for robotaxis, so 40 cars would cost $1.8 million, and 50 would be $2.25 million. Add $2,000 to $5,000 per car for charging infrastructure, and you're looking at $1.9 to $2.5 million total. An SBA loan could cover this if your rideshare income and business plan show strong cash flow. Lenders love seeing $1.5 million in revenue per dollar of debt payment. Earnings for 40 to 50 cars, using the same 90% utilization and $2,790 mile. Forge cars, gross, $59,130 per car, times 40, to $2,365 a year. Or net earnings, costs, $147,825, plus $29,565, plus $30,000, 12 maintenance, plus $35,000, 12 insurance, plus $60,000 for depreciation, $21,000, $9,560. Net, $2,365 $200 divided by 60,000, $12,560 is $1,155 $640, or net $28,891 car. 50 cars. Gross, $59,130 car times 50 to $2,956 a year, or net costs $147,825 times 5 times $29,565 times 30,000, 12 insurance, $5,000 for 5 times 60,000, 4,000, over $156,500.
Do you think the plan could be viable with that gross profit of net income?
All right, let's dive into whether your plan to scale a Tesla robotaxi fleet to 40 to 50 Model Ys across 5 states with an SBA loan is viable, given the projected gross and net earnings. You're looking at serious ambition here, and I'm hyped to break it down with you, keeping it conversational and grounded in the numbers we crunched. We're talking about a gross revenue of $2.37 million to $2.96 million per year, and a net income of roughly $1.16 million to $1.44 million for 40 to 50 cars, based on 90% utilization at $2,500 per mile. Let's unpack if this holds up and what it means for viability. First, the numbers look promising on paper. A net of $1.16 million for 40 cars, or $1.44 million for 50 cars, averages out to about $28,891 per car annually. That's a solid margin, around 49%, which beats most traditional rideshare or rental businesses, where margins are often 20 to 30% after driver costs. Since robotaxis eliminate human drivers, you're pocketing more per ride, and Tesla's FSD tech should keep maintenance low compared to gas-powered fleets. Your plan to spread 8 cars per state, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, Pennsylvania, is smart. Diverse markets reduce risk from local regulations or demand dips. Texas and Florida are particularly robotaxi friendly, with looser autonomous vehicle laws, while Nevada's got a strong rideshare demand already. Pennsylvania and Arizona are a bit trickier. PA has colder winters that could stress batteries, and Arizona's heat tests cooling systems, but Tesla's built for that. The SBA loan is key to making the scale happen. You're eyeing $1.9 to $2.5 million to cover 40 to 50 Model Ys at $45,000 each, plus charging setups, $2,000 to $5,000 per car. Let's say you borrow $2.5 million for 50 cars over a 7-year SBA 7A loan. $1.16 million net covers the loan payment, with $660,000 left. Lenders like seeing debt service coverage ratios, DSCR, of 1.25 or higher. Your net income gives you a DSCR of 2.3, 50 cars to 1.8, 40 cars, which is strong. Your current rideshare income and 6 Tesla fleet should help prove cash flow to secure the loan, especially if you've got a solid credit score, 680 plus. Now, viability hinges on a few risks. Regulatory delays could push Tesla's robotaxi network past 2026. California's strict on autonomous vehicles, and Pennsylvania's got similar hurdles. If approvals lag, you're stuck with idle cars or leaning harder on Uber, which cuts into your net since rideshare margins are thinner, $15 to $30 an hour versus $28,891 per car a year. Charging logistics are another hurdle. Superchargers are fast but expensive at scale. 50 cars at 78,840 miles each need 985,500 kilowatt hours a year total. At $3,500, that's $2,047,825 annually. But commercial rates or peak pricing could push it higher. Investing in home or depot-based Tesla wall connectors, $30,000 to $50,000 for 50 cars infrastructure, could save you long-term, especially if you add solar to cut grid costs. Maintenance might also creep up. High mileage could mean $4,000 to $5,000 per car, instead of $3,000 if tires or parts wear faster than expected. Your multi-state plan is a strength, but adds complexity. Managing 8 cars per state means coordinating charging, maintenance, and compliance across different regulations. Texas and Florida have lower taxes and friendlier laws, but Pennsylvania's vehicle taxes and inspections could nibble at profits. You'll need a system, maybe a fleet management app like Fleetio, or a small team to monitor uptime and handle issues remotely. Tesla's app integration should help, but scaling to 50 cars might require 1 or 2 hires, adding $50,000 to $100,000 in labor costs annually. The plan's viable if you nail execution. Your net income covers the loan and leaves wiggle room for taxes. Assume 25 to 30%, or $360,000